asked you today, what does Omega Phi Alpha stand for? How would you respond? Our cardinal principles might come to mind, and you might say friendship, or leadership, or service. Depending upon our individual experiences, each one of us is likely to answer that question in a little bit of a different way. Our national bylaws include a statement that says the core values that guide Omega Phi Alpha are service, leadership, diversity and inclusiveness, sisterhood, education, and tradition. However, this simple list leaves lots of room for interpretation. I found this quote from Elvis Presley as I was preparing to talk to you today, and he said, "Values are like fingerprints. You leave them all over everything you do." And according to Google, core values should be the basis upon which members of an organization make decisions, plan strategies, and interact with each other and the broader community. Our core values are not intended to just be words on a page. They're intended to be integrated into the very fabric of our organization's culture. And defining the intent of each of our core values creates cohesiveness and common understanding across the entire organization. So to that end, the board of directors spent time this fall creating defining statements for each one of our core values. And I'd like to share those statements with you now as a compass to guide our journey forward as a sisterhood. We promote a culture of service. This value is mentioned first and foremost. We are committed to creating valuable, meaningful, and impactful service across 6 areas. As part of Omega Phi Alpha, we should be modeling the way and setting the example with a you first mindset. You first, me second. Our 6 areas of service include giving back to the university community, recognizing the efforts and needs of the faculty, staff, and fellow students, making a positive impact in the community at large where we live, work, and play, serving the members of the sorority through uplifting activities and steadfast support, impacting the nations of the world by addressing issues facing humanity across the globe, addressing mental health by championing psychological and emotional well-being, and dedicating efforts to the specific focus area annually of the President's Project. We develop the leadership potential of our members. Regardless of whether someone is an officer or an individual contributor, every sister should be modeling personal leadership. And what does personal leadership mean? It means we act with integrity. We have the self-discipline to support the chapter and the organization's priorities. And we engage in two-way communication. Our vision is that Omega Phi Alpha's members are prepared to serve in leadership roles throughout life, in their profession, on community boards, and through other opportunities that may arise. We embrace the diversity of our members through a spirit of inclusion. Membership in Omega Phi Alpha is open to any student enrolled in a college or university where a chapter is located, regardless of race, ethnicity, religion, national origin, physical ability, gender identity, or sexual orientation. Long before the current focus on diversity and inclusion, we adopted a policy stating Omega Phi Alpha has a responsibility to maintain an environment free of discrimination and harassment. It's important that we all recognize we are stronger when we accept others without judgment and include diverse experiences and viewpoints. Ideally, this means we continually strive to create an accessible and welcoming space. We intentionally debias our behaviors. We encourage every member to contribute their strengths, and our chapter and national leadership teams are diverse. We foster a strong bond of sisterhood. We're bonded to each other through meaningful friendships. Meaningful friendships include trust, love, support, respect, encouragement, and withholding judgment. Remember that first and foremost, we are bonded through a deep focus and commitment to service. So that you first mindset that I spoke of earlier really applies very much to the way we approach our sisters. We should be engaging in real, sincere, and uplifting activities, and we should be modeling respect and kindness. We celebrate lifelong fellowship through tradition. Shared experiences are what connect members to Omega Phi Alpha throughout life. Our traditions now and in the future are meaningful and memorable, available to both actives and alumni, and a blend of classic traditions as well as openness to developing new traditions as well. And education is the foundation that equips us to act on our values. Each of us made a commitment to enroll in a college or university where we found an outlet for service and sisterhood through Omega Phi Alpha. To make an impact through service, we must learn about the needs across our 6 core areas and educate others about why that should be a priority. And growing as servant leaders requires that we be lifelong learners, understanding new practices and coaching others so that they can be at their best. Embracing these core values cannot be legislated. It requires each one of us to do our best to make decisions and to act with each other according to these values. And if we all model these values and hold each other accountable to doing so, our sisterhood will grow stronger as a result. Remember what Elvis said, values are like fingerprints. You leave them all over everything you do. So in closing, I'll leave you with this thought. How will you take hold of Omega Phi Alpha's core values and imprint them on the work you do and the relationships you establish going forward?